Alright, so in this module, we're going to go over an example of sketching crystallographic planes. And this is, again, in your quiz. So after the intro here, pause the video and go sketch the plane and put that into the quiz. So what it wants us to do is sketch the bar 1, 2 plane. And I give you a blank unit cell here. So feel free to do this on a piece of paper, do this digitally, however works best for you. That might depend on whether you can get some blank unit cells, but you can also do this, in PowerPoint or something like that, whatever you want to do. But do that, come back, and we'll work through this one together. All right, so let's go ahead and sketch the bar 1, 2 plane in the unit cell. So again, I'm cheating. I've got a printed out blank unit cell, so I didn't have to sketch it again for you and have low quality. So we're going to take this and sketch it into the unit cell here. So as I always do, I make my little table, and I extract the coordinates, the indices. So this is bar 1, so -1, -1, 2. Right, so that's my first step. After that, our next step is going to be to take to do the reverse of what we typically do, and so that's the reciprocals. So 1 over -1, 1 over -1, 1 over 2. Right, so those are reciprocals. So that gives me -1 again, -1, and then 1/2. All right. So these are now my intercepts. And so I'm going to place points where those intercepts would be, keeping in mind that that's my origin right there. So if it's along this, x-axis, then we have a negative, right? So it's going to be back. And so I can already see that if I want to draw this, my point's going to be back here, right? So here is one of these cases where it's actually a good thing to move the origin as well. So because I'm going to be drawing points that are outside the unit cell. So instead, I can again pick a new origin. So if I look at my my intercepts here, I know that both x and y are going to be negative. So I'm going to use the negatives instead of the positives. So if I know that that's the case, if I pick this point right here, so that this is x, or sorry, that this is x prime, this is y prime, and this is z prime, right? This is my new origin, O prime. Then if I look at this point, if I look at a negative x, it's going to be back here. If I look at a negative y, it's going to be over here, and then the positive z. So this is a good point so that I don't have to draw it outside the unit cell. So it's a convenience thing. So if you can see that ahead of time, I would suggest moving the origin so that now it's at -1a. So the negative x prime axis is back here and going all the way to 1 length of a. Same thing with y. This is the negative y prime axis, and so this is going to be 1 unit of it on the unit cell. And then 1/2 of the z axis puts me somewhere right here. So the z prime axis, this is halfway up. So those are my points in the unit cell using this new origin. Because the origin is kind of an artificial construct, right? It can be on any any corner that we want to choose, and it's just because we're really only concerned about the orientation, not necessarily where the origin is. So we can pick whatever place we want. So from there, all I have to do, if you remember the next step, was to connect the points, right? And I'm going to switch pens here so you can maybe see the color difference. So that's 1 point, that's 1 point, there's 1. Those are my 3 points. So I'll connect these first, as straight as I can. connect these over here as straight as I can, and then connect these two base points as straight as I can, right? So that's my plane, and I like to shade it in so you kind of get a sense of the three-dimensionality to it, but that is my plane that we see. So I had one alteration to the procedure is that I moved the origin so that because I have this nicely drawn unit cell, I don't want to have to draw my plane outside of it. So I pick a new origin so that it's more convenient for drawing it. So that's what you have for the bar one plane drawn within the unit cell.